Last time out, attrition was the name of the game once again. Like the previous race at Richmond, it was Jake Wright who took home the checker flag at Worldwide Technology Raceway, this time under caution. Tonight, several of the top competitors of this series look to gain some momentum as they prepare to go left and right at America's National Park of Speed. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the virtual Road America in Plymouth, Wisconsin for the Global SimRacing Channel's coverage of the Ultimate Conquest Online Racing Association Throwback Indycar Series presented by 94 Motorsports. Tonight is the Grand Prix of the Great Elkhart Lake. I'm Justin Prince. Alongside of the booth tonight is Rocco Stallone. Behind the scenes is our director Sean Ambrose, and he is using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Now, Rocco, this is a very interesting track for these competitors. Very big, and one of the fan favorites in recent years.
All right, Justin, Wisconsin is where we are today. 14 turns, just a little over 4 miles. And what turns named Canada Corner, Thunder Valley, and Bill Mitchell Bend. How could you not expect excitement and a challenging road course to look forward? And to show you how we get through it, we have our GSRC lap guide to check it out.
Welcome to Road America. Nicknamed America's National Park of Speed, it's easy to see why just by looking at how the track is laid out. Long straights are a major feature, and drivers will build up incredible momentum before they find themselves interrupted by tight 90-degree corners. In fact, for a 4-mile circuit, it has shockingly few turns. It also has little in the way of variation in layouts. The main course is only broken up once with a single chicane added in the bend version. But don't take this to mean that it's a boring track. Elevation change happens many times over a lap, with a few places taking you into corners which are quite blind. But two of the turns on the back half of the course are perhaps the most distinctive. One is the carousel with its more than 180-degree radius. It just feels like it never stops. The other is the kink. Terrifyingly fast with very little runoff, it can end someone's race in a flash. As you'd expect, the heavy braking zones make for some ideal overtaking spots. Turn 5 sees plenty with its downhill entry. The hurried downs can offer drivers a chance at a sneak attack if you're brave, and then Canada Corner gives you one last shot before the lap is over. It's no wonder major organizations such as IMSA, IndyCar, NASCAR, and the SCCA all host major races here. All in all, many drivers rate this track as the best track in North America. Many who hop in the seat and try it can quickly understand why.
That was a look at your GSRC lap guide for the best way around Road America. These competitors all set to get going, but let's take a look at how the championship standings, first things first, have fared out so far coming into race number 12. Coming into tonight, Paul Jenkins, the points leader over Brian Beard by 79 points, followed by a massive difference. 353 points back is John Garrett. He's trying to hold off Robert Bluen, though, for that spot. 4 points separate them. Dan Garrett rounds out the top 5 for the driver standings entering tonight. Now, Rocco, tonight's going to be interesting. Let's take a look at those race details.
Yeah, JP, round 12 of 20. So we're just starting that downturn for the end of the season. A lot of guys, as you said, got a lot of ground to make up in that point standings race. Hoping to start that today. Running the Dallara IR05, which is a throwback IndyCar that they were running back in 2005. Going to do 37 laps, 37 long laps around this Road America course. These guys are going to get 4 sets of tires, and they are going to be running custom fixed setups. Everybody running the same thing that was predetermined prior to the race. Justin?
Absolutely. Remember, this track hosted CART back from 1982 to 2004, as well as in 2006 to 2007, before returning for the NTT IndyCar Series schedule back in 2016. But are you interested in advertising with GSRC? Our channel's 1 million monthly global impressions are a great way to get your brand seen by a diverse audience. Follow the link in the description for the YouTube broadcast version of this tonight's coverage to learn more about the Global SimRacing channel. Qualifying currently underway for these drivers, about 5 minutes or so left in session. 4 solo laps is the amount these drivers will have to try and put themselves in the best position on the starting grid. As you can see on the left side of your screen, 8 drivers have set qualifying time so far, the quickest being Brian Beard. He was the quickest in practice as well. In the 144s, he's the only driver in that bracket so far. Christopher Matrician was amongst the drivers in the top 5 for comparison's sake.
Yeah, Justin, and Brian Beard was on it in practice, taking a look at them before they started taking their qualifying rounds. He was doing about the same gap, about 8/10 of a second ahead of his nearest competitor. He's really got this track dialed in. A lot of guys he figured probably know their way around this place pretty good. He definitely seems to be doing it. And then right behind him, we got a nice little collection of guys: Jenkins, Cohen, Bennett, within 4/10 of one another. So hoping to see some real competitive times from everybody, which hopefully will lead to some close racing.
And keep in mind, the weather fairly cool for these drivers today, as another fastest lap set by Beard with the 144.6s this time. That was on his second wait past the start and finish line. Keep in mind, this is afternoon conditions, mostly cloudy skies. 71 degrees is the air temp. That's translated to 91 degrees for the track temp. Humidity is at 45%. The wind also very high still at southwest directions at about 10 miles an hour. That's facing towards the flag stand down the Road America straight today. And track conditions carrying over from practice and through qualifying originally started at low usage and amount of rubber buildup around the racetrack. Your thoughts on what we may see today with this fairly difficult road course and what should be an eventful race?
Well, JP, you mentioned that wind. It's cross breeze. Interestingly enough, it's actually blowing across both long straights. A lot of guys will see trying to pass each other, catching a big part of the draft. It'll be interesting to see how that cross breeze affects his big wings and see if it's going to affect them with that dirty air going into some of these heavy braking areas. So I think a lot of consistency, again, as we keep mentioning early on, it's a long racetrack, plenty of places to make up time, but also plenty of places to make a mistake. And you could be doing 20, 25 laps and not put a wheel wrong and make one mistake and your whole race is done just like that. So it's really a focus track, something you really got to dial into.
Let's take a look at Paul Jenkins for comparison right now. Skidmark Motorsports in second spot. Was actually a tenth slower last time by. In practice, he was third quickest. Some air drivers still continue to cycle their way around this racetrack, which we've talked about the difficulties. This is also an event that has a meaning to its Grand Prix naming, where the original tribe in the area had called the lake Nishewe O Danibus, or Great Elk Heart Lake. That's 2 words. It was called that because of its general shape resembling an elk's heart. Native Americans also believed the water of the lake had creative powers, which, if they bathed in them, they would be rejuvenated and handsome again. To this very day, tens of thousands of springs that feed the lake are still to be considered one of the cleanest lakes in all Wisconsin. So it's a very significant event name here for this racetrack tonight here at Road America.
Justin, I don't know how I'm supposed to follow that up. I could tell you that Brian Beard has a handsome half-second lead over Paul Jenkins, first and second spot, but that was quite educational. I did not expect to be this learned this part of the race so far.
Taking a look right now at the 33 machine, able to get up to P12. That is Ocampagnoni able to get up there. Chris Lanini has been talked about as one of the better road course drivers in this series. Didn't put in too many practice laps, though. Only 12 in total over the course of an hour. Got inside the top 5 in practice, currently 7th on the board. This time by, he is now the second driver just about to get inside the 144s, a 145.015 with correction.
Yeah, very strong lap for him. And as I was alluding to before, we're starting to see that gap, that really small gap between second and about sixth place. So about 5 guys together. Should be a really interesting race. Maybe not for the top spot. It looks like Brian Beard's got a real keen look on this track. So hopefully somebody's going to catch up with him. But I think we're in for some serious road racing with some of these guys just behind him. Oh, someone's spinning.
And that's at the other end of the racetrack. Justin Kirby just made his way up inside the 144s. The second driver to do so in the session, and it's the final few moments of it. Meanwhile, you see across the strike, that's Waverly able to move up inside the top 10, while Travis Bennett, one of the drivers a part of the Major Series, inside the top 6 in qualifying. All while Andy Yerk, it's been a rough one for the 27. But that just about wraps up how qualifying is. The Top Qualifier Championship is brought to you by D2 Race Designs. They specialize in creating personalized and customized SimRacing peripherals, as well as providing the RC race community items that make their days at the track more organized and efficient. The season's top qualifier would win a customized button box, all thanks to the kind folks at D2 Race Designs. Let's take a look at how those qualifying points have shaped out entering tonight. Brian Beard just so happened to have the most points on the season so far, 60 points ahead of Paul Jenkins. Eric Jeffords, Andy Yerk, and Nate Burke rounded out the top 5 entering this evening's round. But that means one thing: it's time for these drivers to head to the racetrack. Once again, that is represented by D2 Race Designs. Brian Beard once again on the pole tonight. A 1:44.435 is the pole time, while Justin Curry starts outside on the front row. Paul Jenkins and Chris Lanini start in row 2, with Diego Cesnos in P number 5. Travis Bennett starts 6, Mark Cohen in P7, Nate Burke in P8, Swavely along with Dave Lodo round out the top 10.
Yeah, Justin, 11th spot. We got a new name, Corey Bunch. Haven't seen him running a lot with us. We have Rick Ravon. He corrected us last race. I want to make sure we got it right this time. Julio Campagnoni in 13th spot alongside Eric Jeffers in 14th. Andy Yerk, we saw going the wrong way in qualifying. Still managed to put it together for 15th. Robert Blue in at 16th. And Matrizian and Greenlee didn't put in a lap, but both 17th, 18th on the final row of the starting grid.
Let's look at the 18 drivers able to make it tonight to Road America. There are 2 spotlight drivers for this evening who will be focused upon. Christopher Vitrazian amongst the first of them. His 9th career start in the series comes this evening. Top 15 in points. With 3 career top 10s in the series, he finished 16th at Worldwide Technology Raceway, looking to recover tonight. The second of those drivers tonight is inside the top 10 in qualifying. Diego Cesnos rounded into 36 in the points entering tonight. 1 top 10 in the season so far, P12 at Gateway last round. Those spotlighted drivers are brought to you by Midwest Simulations. You watch the track, we'll watch the rest. Use the promo code THROWBACK for $5 off a set of your Spotlight's visual spotting system. Find out more at MidwestSim.com.
Yeah, Justin, those spotlights taking a little bit extra off of your plate. Definitely recommend taking a look at that. I always tell my guys that I'd let them know about them. So check those out for sure.
Let's talk about how this race will play out tonight. 37 laps, 150 miles on the docket. That's 241 kilometers. 2 sets of tires are available in the pits for the drivers. Max fuel load, 17 gallons or so. They average about 1.2 gallons used per lap. Fuel stints expected to be about 13 laps with 2 stops on the docket. So it could be interesting to see who can keep their cars clean and play the strategy game with that window.
Yeah, Justin, we're going to see a lot of attrition. Maybe not necessarily guys going out of the race, but a lot of guys going off the track. We've seen it in a few other road races. It's a real struggle to stay on the lead lap. We got a long track tonight, so maybe we'll see a few more guys on there. But it's all about consistency. It's all about, finding that break point, lap in, lap out. It's a long race, Justin. These guys got to focus.
One thing to note, drivers were informed in the race meeting that while there will be no full course yellows for, say, smaller incidents, if there is trouble on the start, they will throw one with only 1 chance to re-rack if half or most of the field is involved. That is to make sure the drivers who keep it clean up at the front do not get an unfair advantage. Outside of that, if it's clean off the start, you do not have a caution flag to bail you out to close back up.
You really got to be on it this time. You got to make sure you get in and get out. That's the whole point of the start. Make it quick.
Live timing and scoring is available for tonight at GSRC.TV. Once again, if you want to follow where your favorite teams and drivers are across the racetrack tonight, that's at GSRC.TV. Still about a minute and a half or so until the green flag. What are some of the keys you think there is tonight to try win this type of race?
Winning is always something that you hope is at the end and hopefully attainable. I think just getting through it. Again, it's, most of these guys are used to the ovals. We see them excel a lot more there. Much different discipline, a lot more braking, a lot more mental game here. So I think you need your skill to match your mental game. And I think if you put those two together, you can find yourself in a high part of the podium if you're not careful.
What are some of the danger zones you think for these drivers tonight once the green flag flies?
Oh, I think easily turn one, obviously on the start, and I think coming into after that Road America straight, I think we're going to see a lot of action in that turn, a lot of passing, and unfortunately, maybe a couple guys having their last turn at that spot.
One of the benefits of having broadcast across the iRacing service is the ability for some fans to chime in. Midwest Simulations just chimed in to add an additional code to that promotion we talked about for the Spotlight drivers. Use the code ALLSTAR to save 25% on Spotlights now until July 26. Once again, that is straight for Midwest Simulations. Watching along tonight on the YouTube portion here in the Global Sim Racing channel. These drivers all set to get going in just a few moments. Your final thoughts before the green.
I'm just ready to see some good racing. We saw the real guys go at it on Sunday. Let's see it again here.
Brian Beard in control of the field as they make their way up the Road America straight. Massive elevation change could be a factor on some of the pit entries tonight. Brian Beard's off and away. Green flag is out. We're underway from Road America.
Clean start for the most part. Maybe a little bit of contact in the back, but everybody in the top 10 at least away smoothly. Nice start by these guys.
Perfect start, in fact. Beard already trying to run off and away. Kirby in second, Jenkins in third, Lanini in fourth, Bennett, Burke round out the top five. Decent separation though amongst the top four, already 4/10 as Lanini now makes a look down the inside. Jenkins across the rumble strips. Still powers his way on the outside, coming down the marine sweep off to turn 6.
Still trying to hold that pass, and a little bit of room given to him by Asensos, and nice strong move early, but almost clipped him there. That was close.
One driver had trouble at the back of the field. Kirby already back to 17th after trouble in that same section. The rest of the field, though, able to get through cleanly. The thing is, though, with that mistake and the drivers having to check up third on back, the gap is already more than 2 seconds.
Yeah, we see Brian Beard just taking off right now. He's doing what he did in practice and doing what he did in qualifying. He's saying, boys, you're going to have to work to catch me.
See that distance all while Jenkins trying to play defense. Lanini behind, Bennett up to 4th spot. The Bell 711 machine of Nate Burke rounding out the top 5. Going in P6, Ray Vaughn rounding out the top 7 off the jump. What is a very clean start, just the one mistake by the one driver. Green Lee did not make it to the green. At the end of the first lap sees Brian Beard come away with a 2-second gap. It went down 2/10 though in the final sector.
Did all that really happen in just one lap, Justin?
Yes, indeed. A lot can happen, mind you, with the major amount of size here. This is more than 4 miles, remember, across this track.
Yeah, and we're seeing a lot of action every single turn from third place back. Nice tight racing going on. These top 2, they really they decided they were going to go to quick, but we're going to take a look at a lot of these guys, single file, but challenging each other and getting close to one another.
See them in the slipstream trains at the moment. It's the grouping 4th on back, specifically major send by Burke, way off the track into the kitty litter.
Ooh.
Nate Burke all the way to the end of the top 10 he goes, and that gives him wing damage as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, that kitty litter, and then I think it was a little bit of that curbing, benting that fiberglass just a little bit.
And that can be very crucial on the road courses because, especially with open wheel machines, that's used a lot for the speed in the corners and the downforce.
Yeah, especially the second half of this track. The first half of the track is wide open, but once you start getting into these type of turns, that's when you really need that downforce to kick in.
Take a look from the back end for Burke. He fell all the way back to P10. He had charged all the way up from P8 after the start. Lost all those positions now. Matrizion falls behind. Corey Bunch quietly inside the top 12 as well off the jump. It's already, however, 9+ seconds behind your race leaders. Let's take a look at what's going on with the battles. As trouble in the backdrop. Several drivers, I believe, just spun off the racetrack. Yerk was among the drivers. Believe Jeffords was also involved at the very back of the field at the very bottom of Road America Straight.
Let's take a look at what happened here, Justin.
Looked like he snapped it there, Rocco. It can be pretty easy here on some of the corner exits with this tire.
I think we just see here just a case of following too close. Always kind of, oof. Yeah, there we go. Got a little piece of that. Almost missed him, but took that left front, put it in his rear. Hopefully be recovering from that, but I don't know. It looked like a tough one.
So Jeffords significant damage, so does Yerk. In that incident, they're now 16th and 17th. Kirby has recovered from his first lap incident up to 13th, for comparison's sake. P10 starting to heat up. That's where some of the wing damage is for Burke. Got passed by Christopher Maturzi on one of the spotlight drivers tonight. Still having to hold on with Corey Bunch and Kirby quickly closing in.
Yeah, we've seen Kirby with some speed on the road courses. I wouldn't be surprised if he got up there and started challenging these guys pretty quick.
Here's the look from Kirby. Remember, started outside front row. Robert covers many spots as he can to try and keep up in the championship fight.
Yeah, we get a real good look at what it takes to get around this track. You just hear it. Real aggressive turns. Don't want to go too slow around these turns, but you gotta make sure you just get it right on that line. You see as he catches a little bit of that air, makes him bobble a little bit. So it's just one of those things where that little burst of air can come out of nowhere. Now you fly down this straightaway and go under heavy braking.
You see right up the road, Bunch able to get a run on Burke. Burke giving him the space. And now Burke's descent continues off to P12 after being as high as the top 5. You can see the difference in speed just in the backdrop with Kirby as well. Just able to carry a little bit more speed on exit compared to these drivers, as Bunch nearly goes off the track.
Yeah, a little bit of an off for Bunch, and what gave Burke that chance to get back on the inside. Burke's pace a little bit off since he had that little bobble, but definitely fighting hard here, trying to get right back to the position he just lost.
Gets back up to P11, and now Kirby looking to get back P12 in the backdrop. They're losing touch, though, the more they fight Rocco, because Matrician's already pulled away by more than a second compared to this train.
Yeah, and that's something you got to deal with. You got to fight for position, and just inherently you're going to lose time.
Trouble up the road.
Oh,
that's Rayvon. Rick Rayvon pulls off the racetrack. He was in 6th position after having trouble.
I was running real high up. One of our premier oval guys in this series. He was running high up there.
And take a look at the corner exit, similar to what happened in the last incident. You see, difference was you can see he locked it up, but I believe that was Copignoni, who made the contact in that situation. If not Diego, yeah, I believe it was Diego.
Was that Ascensos or Campagnoni?
Taking a look right here, yeah, it was Diego specifically you seen up the road in the second purple car. You see Campagnoni, though, was able to get through quickly. Mind you, both of them have the exact same paint scheme on the respective cars. Just about, as you see the spotlight driver try and run off and away.
Yeah, and that gap from second to third, it's almost gone. We've been paying so much attention to what's going on, and we just see this Lanini firing around Jenkins.
They lost a few seconds and finally got a good run up the inside to be able to take away P2. Gap between first and second now about 3.8 seconds, and Lanini was trying to do that, it seemed, for a few laps now, Rocco.
Yeah, and then second place on a road course like this is always next man up. Now we get to see what Lanini's pace really is. He's got nobody in front of him, so we can start to see if he can eat into that gap of Beard. And if he can't do it, if someone else passes him, we'll see if that one can do it. But, you know, this guy in second place, whoever it is, he's got to really get on his game because we're seeing some fast laps up front.
Smart Cone right behind him in the 39 machine, sponsored by Splash & Go Graphics along with D2 Race Designs tonight, trying to send his way up inside the top 3. As you see from the left front.
It's just a great shot. It's a great shot in the virtual world. It's a great shot in the real world.
Right now the lap times in the 145s, leaders running the 146s in the clean air for comparison's sake. We've seen some difficulty trying to set up some of these passes, Rocco. Where are the best places to pass and how do you set them up?
I think a lot of passes get set up over multiple laps. Obviously, the braking zones where where your racing 101 would come in, and that's where you're going to try to pass. And I think sometimes going down these straights, if you're close enough and you can catch that slipstream, go around him, make him be behind you before you even get to the turn. Don't even have to rely on it. So, and then obviously the second half of the course, a little bit more technical than the first half, but equally entertaining. Not as many passing zones on that one.
And an interesting bulletin coming up. This is from Race Control. Drivers are reporting significant effective understeer in this traffic, mind you, with the dirty air we were just talking about. Really struggling. Some of them apparently saying it's the worst in series history right now.
Oh, we're breaking records. It's great. I'm glad to be a part of it. But yeah, that could be something that you would never want to see at a track like this because it's just so long and you don't want to be understeering. You want that thing to bite.
So how do you fight or try and at least counter the dirty air?
You just gotta make an adjustment to your own driving style. Kind of just know what's there, and that's what basically separates the good drivers from the really good drivers. Is the guys that can make that adjustment. Because everybody's got the same car, so if one guy's having trouble, everybody's doing it. So it's even playing field as far as the car is concerned. So it makes the driver, the thing that stands out.
More trouble behind them. Nate Burke went off track again, and
Lanini's
Lanini.
Around.
And we're talking about Lanini was struggling a bit in practice. 12 practice laps set before qualifying. That thing just snapped on him.
Yep, Justin, and he is sans rear wing right now.
Decent job keeping it off the track, at least on the spin, but he's not going to have a fun time getting back to the pits without a wing.
No, these things aren't really designed to operate without that back piece. It does have a lot to do with keeping this thing. You can see how bad it is for him right now. He's not even pushing. He's just coasting, and he's having trouble keeping it straight.
That's allowing Matrizian to close on in a little bit in the backdrop. One of the spotlight drivers coming up and quick. Had just made a pass for P7 last time by, now has a chance to gain up 6 because of that.
Yeah, and we just see a lot of battling going on, a lot of guys failing, a lot of guys excelling. We see that that wingless beauty going through this turn. Obviously, he's going to bring that to the pits and get a replacement.
And the tough part in that, it's the middle of the fuel window too. So this is going to essentially force him into a possible 3-stopper instead of a 2-stopper.
Yeah, one would think there's really no way around it at this point. It's just really that gray area where you don't want something to happen, and unfortunately, he put the car in one of the walls, and that's just how it goes.
Here comes Matrizian with that bigger boost down the straightaway. Off through cattle bottoms to Canada cornered. Matrizian up to P6. Move behind them coming. That's Dave also following on through in the 11 for 7.
You got to give it to him, though. He doesn't have a rear wing on this car, and he's really making these guys work to earn that position. So, not the best situation, but, props to him. It doesn't even look like he's going to hit.
He's taking a massive gamble. Let's just say that right now as Kirby now looks to move back up to 8th. Covered back from P17 up to this spot. He's one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, just set the fastest lap of the race, a 1:45.599. Change for second is also going back and forth. Jenkins trying to find on the right side of the track. Cohn trying to hold on to the bottom side. Off out of the exit of the Marine sweep. And Cohen moves back into P2. That's gone back and forth a couple times down the Marine sweep.
And what a great battle that's going on here. These guys are really putting it on early in this race. This is what we were hoping to see when we came here tonight. Oh, a little push there, get a little wide.
That's some of the aero push. By the way, they gained a lap, about a second and a half after Beard had a massive mistake this lap as well. So they are slowly now reeling them back in. 0.2 a lap quicker for the head driver of the train.
Yeah, and this is what we want to see as guys in the booth and fans watching at home. We want to see this field tighten up, and we want to see some battles. But these guys, second, third, fourth place, they're giving it to us.
Coming up to 29 laps to go as Cone trying to pull off and away, and he's loose. Locks it up. Give the spot back to Jenkins.
You just feel the pressure that these guys are under. They got to hit all their marks. They got two madmen breathing down their necks behind them. Oh, it's fun to watch.
At the same time, though, Rocco, do you feel like they're holding each other up? Because that situation just lost them all 8 tenths.
Yeah, it's like I said before, though. You know, you ain't going anywhere unless you're up front. You know, in front of this little group, and you know, we see Cone trying to make that pass again on the inside, that heavy braking zone down Road America straight. But yeah, you got to be up front to make any kind of gap. So yeah, you do sacrifice some time, but you have to do it. You got to get up front.
One looking really sporty in the draft right now. Bennett trying to hold on to the end of that draft as well. They've gone side by side a couple times down the Moraine Sweep. This time he pokes his way to the left side again. Jenkins backs off the brakes. Cohen takes the spot again for second. Another second loss though with the switchback.
Yeah, these guys right now, I think they're focused on one another. That gap to the front, that's something that can be tackled in a little bit. But
yeah,
this battle's fun to watch, and these guys are being clean about it, and they're being really racy. It's fun to watch.
And this is all still allowing Bennett to stay within range of this fight as well. The more they continue to scrap. Should note that Richard Swavely has had to come down for an unscheduled stop, start at lap 9. He's now back in P15. Rayvon also the only DNF of the race so far. So we'll see how these drivers react down kettle bottoms this time.
Yeah, and our production crew putting on a show with some of these angles. It's fun to watch these guys go around. It's just such precise angles.
Beautiful sights and sounds. And now I think Cohen started to pick up on that need to be defensive, trying to break up the slipstream.
Yeah, we see that lead go back up to the 5 seconds. So absolutely, as you said, that mistake was made up because the guys behind him were fighting, but I'm kind of glad it happened. I'm enjoying it.
And Paul Jenkins' technical issue just behind him. That's from P3, so that may have just been some bad luck for him. We'll still see how this breaks up. Behind them, though, some of the spotlight drivers are getting ready to scrap. Because Matricion in P6, P7. I mean, that was a swap route for P5 between our spotlight drivers tonight.
Yeah, Justin, and not quite sure what happened up front, but that's a shame to see that happen to Jenkins. I hope everything's okay. Obviously, when a guy disconnects, you always hope for the best. And it's just hopefully just a random stupid thing, like maybe he lost power or something. But we'll see.
Yep.
I'm sure it's good.
Confirmed technical. It show has trouble. That's Matricion.
Ooh, that was a tough hit too.
One of our spotlight drivers having some trouble. This was again the battle for the top 5.
He just cut that turn a little too tight. I don't think he was able to hold it. And with these guys saying it was the handling being as bad as it was, there's probably like everything stacked against him. I didn't see him catching it.
That moves him back to P7, and he's got wing damage as well from scuffing the tire wall. That puts some of the focus towards one of the bigger movers outside of Matricion. Behind him, it's Corey Bunch, closing up and quickly.
Yeah, and Corey Bunch, not a name we're used to seeing. I'm not sure if he's run this season. Maybe
it's his
ringer.
first race.
Yeah, okay, first race. Road course ringer we got. Obviously, a nice little debut here. Qualified in 11th spot, up 2 in the top 10. Nice little moves for him.
Indeed. Battle for 4th starting to heat up. Keep in mind that our other spotlight driver also has wing damage you see on the front right. That's slowing him down as well.
And both guys with that front right damage, more likely than not coming from just scuffs with another driver. But it doesn't seem to be affecting him too much. Not on top of his pace, but he's able to hold off Lodel behind him. So definitely not affecting too much, but we'll see how it plays out.
Thing is, the driver looking to take away P5 from him at the moment is Justin Kirby. Justin Kirby already has closed on into this group, just 11 seconds back of the race leader, and ready to try and pounce to get as high as P4 before the first pit stops.
Yeah, we see Dave Lodell moved up to 4th spot. A nice little pass up inside of Ascensos.
See them try to scrap up the road again. Backing off that time, though. Diego said Snows. Kirby, though, able to close right back in once again. Again, the estimated window about lap 13. We expect to see a majority of the drivers come down for scheduled pit stops.
Get that tether cam following those guys now. But, yeah, as you're saying, Justin, pit stop's going to come into play now. Pushing a little bit on the fuel mileage. Got a little bit of a strategy call to make. You see a cone going off to the side there. And looks like we see a new fastest lap. Christopher Matrizian, 145.148. Nicely done.
That's with the wing damage, shockingly enough, actually, for the car in 7th place. Remember, he spun off the racetrack before.
Yeah, we're seeing a nice, strong performance out of him tonight.
Well, look at this.
Oh, we got a pass going on.
Sense knows. Able to back off that time. Kirby keeps the spot for P5. Let's close in 9/10 to get back up to 4th spot. Travis Bennett as well has fallen off of Cohen by 3 seconds up the road. This could turn into a 4-car scrap for 2nd pretty soon. And a 3-car scrap for 3rd because Bennett also is following back that direction.
Yeah, and it does look like that Jenkins did report back into the server. Not quite sure if he's going to get back in the car, but he's on the server. Actually, he's back on track.
Yes.
Very good. Let's take a look for him. So good for him. He's back. Unfortunate. I don't know, maybe a router issue or something. You never know with these things. But, he's going to fight to get what he did. He's only a lap down.
Yeah. Take a look at Brian Beard. He is still running away with it. Can stretch it one more lap, starting lap 13 this time by, coming up to 25 laps to go. The gap already 5.8 seconds. It has just been a clinic put on by him so far tonight.
Yeah, we see Cone just appearing over the horizon there as we see that shot. But, yeah, he's just cruising right now. Really no reason to push. Just hitting all his marks, putting that brake down where he needs to, and, slow in and fast out. And he's doing it over and over. Take a look here. It looks like Lodell's in the pits, getting his first service of the day. Or no, he's gone.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what happened there.
He is elected to park the car. Matrizian taking the one faster pair of the drivers have in bank. So not taking the extra time to replace the wing. Remember, it takes about an extra 15 seconds in the pits to change the wing.
Yeah, we did see the fastest lap set with a wing damage. So, it's kind of like a flip of the coin, and he decided to get that wing gone.
Math would add up for him pitting at about 12 laps to go. Then that would be the end of the race. Also in is Robert Bluen, Dragonfly Racing driver, having a very quiet run inside the top 10 tonight.
Yeah, and a pretty quick stop for him. He was only there for 3.7 seconds. Actually, I apologize. I was looking at the wrong line and timing and scoring.
That's 8 seconds.
Yeah, that's it. That's what exactly. Thanks, Justin. I can go back to my 1 to 10 and come back there in a second.
Either way, Bluen off and away. Comes out P13. Keep in mind, Jeffords, the cars who just passed him. Only 9 laps in. Beard is coming in this time by. Kirby also planning to come in this time by to join the leader.
Right. We're going to take a look at the leader coming in for his service. I'm up good on 1 to 10. I'm ready for letters next time, Justin.
You can see it. One of the longer pit stop deltas you'll have because it's such a long pit lane. A lot of people, if they're brave enough, can gain a lot of time coming up the hillside on the entry. But then you have this 30 to 40 second total pit lane because you're essentially only able to go 45 miles an hour as the pit lane speed limit. This could be very valuable for some of the drivers, how they attack the entrance and exits today with how much there is in terms of lane time.
And Justin, I want you to tell me, how difficult is it really when you've been driving around, pushing and hitting your brake points and accelerating, hair on fire, and then you got to go down this long pit road at 45 miles an hour? How hard is that?
It can be very difficult, mind you. It's so easy for some drivers to potentially have a mistake coming in or lose time trying to be more careful. But everyone, for the most part, taking that service as we expected. Nate Burke, he's off the jacks and looking like he's taking the front wing change without the fast repair.
You really want to slurpee in that ride.
13.8 seconds of the pit stop delta. Meanwhile, Andy Yerk, he's added a bit more damage to his race car. The problem is it's at the rear wing.
Yeah, that back wing looking pretty ugly, opting not to fix it this time in.
We've had one change for position in the pit stops, though. Kirby has jumped up to P3. Bennett cycled to P4. That's heated up that battle because Diego Ascensos is now within position to try and strike back, and he used that fast repair to fix the wing.
Yeah, a lot of guys making that fast repair decision. I think it's a good decision because there's a lot of separation, so I think your chances of getting into contact with someone else are slimmer than they were a little bit ago. Now you just got to keep the nose clean yourself. Don't put it off and don't put it in the walls.
The interesting thing, and might explain why Bennett was starting to fall off from that train for a second or so, he apparently had to stay in the box for an extra 3 seconds to get his damage repair on his 14.
Right, you always see a little bit of extra damage. You just hope, even when you're driving, racing something, you hope that there's no engine damage because the body work can be repaired. Did you just see somebody go off?
Trouble for Kirby. Kirby went off the racetrack. A second mistake for him in this race. And it seems both times cold tires may have been a factor.
I'm just flapping my gums here, and I see a big cloud of dust going by on the right side. We see Kirby.
Whoa.
Oh, just overcooked it. Oh, caught some of the kitty litter. Spun it around, back on track, but that's not going to help him. Probably lost about 10, 15 seconds on that.
And that overcorrection while sliding to the left to snap it to the right puts him all the way back in P6. Make it 19 seconds back from the race leader. It's not been a pretty one for Justin.
And that's one of those ones that you just kind of brush off, and you know, it takes about a half a lap, almost a full lap to get everything back under you, but you just got to have a short memory and pin it down and just do what you were doing up until that point.
The battle for P3 has now heated up to 3 cars in the fight because Christopher Matrizion with his fresh front wing, he's now got a chance to move up and bowl. By the way, the 19 in the backdrop, the fastest car on the track.
Yeah, Matrizion was fast with a bent-up race car. I'm really excited to see what he could do with one that's got all the lines where they should be.
Falling right behind. Sentinel's also following in the choo-choo train. And the difficult part again has been dirty air, dirty air, dirty air. Seems like Diego really struggled there to the point where he lost the delta within a second. It's 1.1 back now from Bennett.
And that's the problem with the air, Justin. You can't see it. So you're just going to get that wicked shimmy that comes out of nowhere, and all of a sudden you were just cruising, and now you got to make a quick correction that if you mess up, could be a bad part of the day.
Should mention Dave Lodo, I should rather say, did park his car from the top 5. He's the second DNF of the race tonight. 15 are still running. Jenkins has recovered to P15 as a result. Matrizion, though, pushing hard. Another 145.3. Leaders running the 146s for comparison's sake.
Right, and something to note, Jenkins has really got to push. You know, he's our point leader, and you were pointing out the big gaps that we saw in that point standings. This could shake up a few things. He's kind of on the bubble now. He can't afford any mistakes. He's got to be perfect the rest of the night.
Yeah. Now remember, Jenkins came into tonight 60 points back. Here with that advantage. Poking towards that inside. It's Matrizion. To make the pass, that is for P4. Should rather say that was for the points specifically. Jenkins the 79 advantage over P4. Flip that around in the driver's standings. Either way, points have been valuable. And Beard gained his advantage tonight with the qualifier. Right now it's in line to gain up on the driver's standing side too.
Yeah, Justin, he's so far ahead, and he's been that way all night. We really haven't been talking much about him. He's got an 8-second lead over Matt Cohen in the second spot. It's just one of those things where, again, he was on fire in practice. He was quickest, obviously, in qualifying, and he's just putting down fast lap after fast lap consistently. He's just driving away with it.
Midway through this pit run, give or take. 19 not able to make the pass quite yet once again, now inside the dirty air. At the very least, I think Christopher can drive this thing up into the top 3 and hold on to that. The question's going to be, can he get up to second?
Well, that's the thing. He's got to get around them. Catching them is one thing. Getting around somebody is always a different story. But it's one of those things where he's going to have to really fight to get around. And if he's going to make, I think we're making a move now. I think we're going around him now.
Bennett actually giving him the space right there with the big boost from Matrizion from behind. This gap is about 4 seconds for the 19 machine, but a very clean pass that time for one of our spotlight drivers.
Right, in our graphic for a little bit showed an exact 4-second gap between Cohen and Matrizion. So now we get to see exactly what Matrizion's putting down, see how fast, if at all, he can break this gap on Cohen. And that'll give us a good idea to see if he's got anything for our leader. Like I said, next man up in second spot, try to cut that interval down. Still a lot of time left.
Coming up to 20 laps to go, as everyone gets into a rhythm in this race, to say the very least. Of note, Eric Jeffers has been in an alternate strategy because he had to use his faster pair early. He's been in the back of the field, got up to as high as 12. He's just had to come down and pit for what will be his second to last pit stop of the race. Everyone else who's been able to keep their cars clean can make it on just one stop to get to the checkered. Now, the interesting thing, part of me there, Rocco, is, remember, Matrizion went for the undercut strategy. He's going to be fairly close on the fuel, give or take, if he's going to split it up 12, 12, and 12.
Yeah, undercut and overcut, those seem to be the words of the weekend, right? Everybody's learning what those words mean. So, yeah, the different strategies are going to be interesting to see. That could actually buy some of these guys a few positions, especially between third, fourth, and fifth. These guys are really close, so a real keen strategy call could make up a couple positions and get a bunch of valuable points that you may not have gotten otherwise.
Absolutely. Keep in mind, Matrizion's been very much on edge. He's made a few mistakes tonight, but he's still the fastest car on the track. Another 1:45.7 just set. I think part of the benefit of trying the strategy, though, is he technically doesn't have to fill it up as much. Has 1 lap less of fuel, and it can be a bit more lighter in the car in total for the run.
Yeah, that's something to play in. Everything counts. A little bit of extra weight and something. I'm not exactly sure how much a gallon of gas weighs. Again, I think we covered my prowess in math before. But yeah, every little bit counts. And if you can get a few extra gallons out of the tank, you get a little bit of extra tense on the track.
Let's go on board for the battle going on for P4. Again, one of the spotlight drivers. Diego's been pushing to get back inside the top 4. He's been flying. He's been setting times quicker by 6/10 now compared to Bennett.
Yeah, always fun to follow along with these guys in the cockpit. Seeing there's really not many opportunities to be braking there. Just a little bit of lift, a confidence lift here and there. You know, hopefully a little bit of a correction is all that's needed as you fly down these heavy braking zones coming up. Can't be too hard though, or else that back end's going to snap around. We've already seen that a couple times tonight. And just be smooth around these kinks, not letting off as much, just being smooth. That's all about it. And eventually that guy in front of you starts getting bigger and bigger, and you just go around him.
Remember, though, this was around the point where Diego had closed in, then started suffering from the dirty air. Fell back 1.1 seconds. It's taken him this long to get his legs back underneath him.
Yeah, but he's been pushing. Again, that's where the big gap happens between 5th and 6th spot. Looking at almost 10 seconds there between Ascensos and Kirby. So, again, the top 5 kind of making their statements and pulling away from the rest of them. You know, Brian Beard's still up there. Matrizion's obviously getting close. He's like 2.5. We saw him whittle down that lead. I think, like I said, it's going to be his turn next to see if he can take a chunk out of that Beard lead.
And that battle's closing up. Keep in mind, for second, we'll keep an eye on that, 1.6 seconds. And it just seems right here, Diego gets in that dirty air, nearly pushes off the racetrack, loses a tenth or two. Closes back up, pushes off the racetrack nearly, loses another 1 to 2 tenths. He's absolutely struggling with that dirty air. That's been the talking point right there with the apex.
Yeah, it's just like a brick wall. You come around and, you just get hit. And like I said before, you can't see it. And when you get that cross breeze going on that straightaway, you can't see that. And it's going the opposite way in the opposite part of the course, and you can't see that either. So it's always something to keep you on your toes.
Speaking of keeping on your toes, the battle for second is now within 1 second. It's just up the road from these two drivers. Matrizian now has a chance to strike to get up to his highest point of the race. Remember, Matrizian had a rough qualifying session, didn't put in a time, mind you, officially. Started all the way back 17th officially on the grid. He's now within a chance to go plus 15 on the race.
Take a look at it, that left rear tire. Looking back at Matrizian, back from Cohen, you see him getting that real good pull down that front stretch. Not enough to get around him for turn one. He's going to settle for a slot in, but definitely challenging. Maybe we'll see another turn attempt here at the end of this straight.
There's been some good pull. If you can nail the exit here, and Mark going over the radio. He's given the spot to him. To the right side of the racetrack. Matrizian now up to his highest point of the night. P2 after setting the fastest lap on the track. Another 1:45.5. Now it's the question, can he somehow close 11 seconds in the span of 17 laps?
That's the question that I think we're going to be looking at. Judging from the current form we're seeing out of these guys, if anybody is going to track down Beard, it is going to be Matrizian here. Take us a couple laps to see what he's got for him. It's 11.5 right now. We'll see if that'll dwindle a bit.
Put in some flyers, then Beard's been able to pull back with some times in the cleaner air. However, Beard, the interesting thing, at some points has been slower than much of the field at some points in the 146s. Then when they start fighting, he pulls it back into the 145s. He's been going back and forth on the timesheet.
Yeah, a little different than oval racing. You can fall in, slot in line, 6, 7 cars, obviously faster than one. Road racing's a little different. Everybody's a little bit different on their style and their braking points, so it's hard to just enjoy a single file draft party, if you will, and you got to really rely on yourself.
Yep. The car that was just passed by Matrizian is now a 3-car train, by the way. Mark has fallen right back into the hands of Travis Bennett after pulling away from him the last run by more than 3-4 seconds. So now Cohen's now fallen off in terms of the pace. Last time by a 1:48.1.
Well, yeah, he just let Matrizian go by. Really didn't want to fight him. Never really understood that decision. Maybe he just knew he was outdone.
I think so.
I don't know. I feel like I would have fought just a little bit.
Here's the thing, though. The average in the past 5 laps, and this is the bigger key, has been half a second quicker compared to these two behind him. So a massive difference in pace, Rocco.
Absolutely, Justin, and it's just one of those things where that pace number will build up, especially over this distance, 4 miles around. A lot of turns, a lot of turns to make this time gap go bigger and bigger.
Let's get on board with our spotlight driver. There you go. Sense knows. He's still trying to fight that dirty air as one of the independents. This is one of his strongest races, mind you, of the season so far.
Right along there. It's always fun to do that. You see that canyon of trees. Just looks really cool on this angle.
See there, the dive from Bennett. Bennett off into the sand and give away P4. That's a Sense Nose now up inside the top 4 after the mistake from Bennett.
A bit of a responsible move from Bennett. Taking his foot off the gas. I feel like if he would have laid into it, he would have been around.
Keep in mind, for Diego and his car, the highest finish he's had in this series, a P10 run. And that was in one of his first races on the in this series. Now, he's got a chance to get what could be a chance at his first podium. And as trouble as Bennett spins around the backdrop.
Bennett spins.
Yes, Bennett just spun around to the backdrop. He's back going. Major mistake from him as that will put him up for grabs potentially. Has a decent gap though. Here's a look at what happened to Bennett.
Yeah, we alluded to it before. Not too hot into that turn. That back end's going to whip around, a little bit of an overcorrection. Put it in the grass. Didn't lose too much time, though.
Meanwhile, with live action, Diego got a huge run down the Moraine sweep. Trying to pinch off this time, heading off towards Hurry Downs. Can't get the preferred line, though. Both of them nearly making tire-to-tire contact.
Tight battle. We see Cohen trying to stick his nose. Ascensos goes wide off the track.
Diego Ascensos with the major mistake. He drops back now, 0.8 again to the car in front. It just seems like him and closing up an 0.8 of a second gap has been the struggle. The first time he does that, he sees a mistake.
Yeah, he worked so hard, as you kept pointing out, about the dirty air, and he was fighting it and just get a little bit wide, let him go by, and it's just unfortunate, but I have a feeling he's going to pull him in again.
Keep in mind, pit stops in about 3 to 4 laps. Window opens up to make it to the end, unestimated windows in about 2 laps. See who tries the undercut strategy with how this race is played out and the importance of clean air in some of these circumstances. Again, though, trying to break up the trap. All as Matrizion sets the fastest lap again of the race, 0.7 quicker than the leader.
Almost a sub 45 for that lap. What a quick lap for Matrizion, and he has got that gap down to just over 10 seconds. I think the last update, just under 10 seconds now.
Just got to 9.8, but here comes another shot for Diego. Ascensos. Defensive move from Cohen. Poking to the outside. Late breaks his way, trying to take away that preferred right side. Can't get the run quite yet. Back single file to turn 6 under the Corvette bridge.
Yeah, Justin, and we just see Diego taking his prod and he's poking and he's looking, he's seeing what he can do when he gets around, maybe setting him up for the next lap, really kind of doing a little bit of recon, seeing where he might be slow.
Especially with the pit stop coming up pretty soon. See in the backdrop, Diego having to be more careful in the throttle. Mark able to put in more throttle point. Off the kink though, put in a more compromised line. Better run for Ascensos. Right of the backdrop, huge burst, going down kettle bottoms.
And now you wonder if you want to pass him on the track or if you want to pass him in the pits.
What would you rather do?
Honestly, I have a control as being the lead car. I'm going to come in I want the new tires as quick as possible. I got 4 sets today.
Fuel window opens up next time by. Again, next time by, coming to the start of lap 24 for these competitors. Again, Cohen trying to break up the slipstream. Defensive line into turn 1. Again, Diego having to back up the corner.
Again, right there, just not close enough. I still think he's putting all these turns away in his memory banks, and I think he's trying to figure out the best time to go around him.
It's the closest he's been down the Moraine sweep. There's the cut to the right side. 3-4 miles an hour quicker. Diego Ascensos. Into the top 3. Cohen, though, with the send back. He launches it hard, cuts him off on the switch.
Now we see him try to switch him up in the back, right on his back rear. Oh, Ascensos is pushing it right now. He's going to get around him. It's just a matter of where. It's funny though. We didn't see Cohen fight this hard when Matrizion came by.
Yeah, this battle has been absolutely intense so far. By the way, Chris Lanini, Nate Burke just both pitted this time by. Burke only 10 laps on the fuel. Lanini stretched it to 14. So that's an interesting thing to think about.
Also interesting, gap between first and second down to almost 8 seconds.
See if these drivers try and duck down or they try and stretch an extra couple. Remember, the difference in fuel weight, 6 pounds. Cohen putting tons of weight on that right front of the lockup. Move Ascensos up into P3.
Yeah, nice reaction from Diego to get around him. That could have been bad if it went the wrong way. But that was a nice pass. A little bit of a lock up there. We saw him go right around them. That's all we needed. These guys right on top of each other.
Now the drivers inside the top 4 electing to come down this time. Most of them now at laps 11 or 12 on their stint. So stretching a little bit further than estimates, give or take, on what the math said prior to the race. See, though, if Cohen can try and get the bounce back, because he looked very strong under braking, like to send it fairly deep to try and fight.
Yeah, and at this point, he's just trying to get that back, and these guys are running identical laps. It's been fun to watch him. I think at this point...
Here he goes! Hits the grass!
We got a piece of him. He's around. Cohen is around.
Cohen able to save it. Contact to the side pod, though, for Diego, and remember, he had to use the faster pair after the wing damage on the first stop. Taking a look in the GSRC replay, and you'll see locked it up and clipped the grass.
Did an okay job of keeping it safe. Didn't lose, again, that much time, but that's that damage might slow him down a little bit. We've seen some damaged cars put some quick laps down today, so hopefully he can get around that.
Robert Lewin just came in this time by. See if this now factors them having to come down. This will be about 12 laps into a stint if they do. Beard did stay out up at the front of the field, by the way. The gap has also shrunk for the race, laid down to 7.8 seconds, with some of the fastest lap times being set by Matrizion still. Matrizion's in from second. Matrizion just pit from second. Will these drivers join him? Yes, third and fourth. Starting to also mix up their strategy with that decision.
Yeah, Justin, I think with 11 laps to go, the earlier you come in, the better. So he's going to have at least one lap with the benefit of his fresh tires. We'll see what Beard does up front.
Cohen did stay out of the racetrack one more lap. But Asset's nose did come in with them. Trizion off and away. Fastest stop of the day in 8.1.
He is really pushing it. He's pushing it on the track, and even with his exit or his entry and exit in pit road, almost perfect.
There's that benefit of having to put in just a little bit less fuel. Here's the thing, though. Beard, Cohen, Bennett, Kirby, Bunch can also put in a couple less pounds of fuel in the tank to get to the end of the next time by.
Yeah. And we take a look at Beard. All of these decisions made on the fly. That's what makes this so great. These guys are deciding what to do in the car, when to pit, and how much to put in. Obviously, you can make those adjustments from inside the cockpit. A lot of these guys really having to think while pulling these cars around at 160 miles an hour.
Kobegnoni has come down this time by. Yerk has also come this time. Will Beard join those drivers? Curly has about a cushion of 39 seconds between him and Matrizion after the pit stop for the 19. Good exit. Here comes Beard up the hill.
And he's got to do the same thing Matrizion did. He has to make sure he gets his entry perfect. He's got to put it right on his marks and bail out as quick as possible. He can make a lot of time here. He can lose it too. I'm interested to see how fast he does this.
Keep an eye on that comparison. Remember, he only needs about 11 laps of fuel compared to the 12 needed for Matrizion, so that could affect the timing. That could be affected potentially up to a couple tenths.
Now we see the strategy, whether or not it pays off or if it's something that could have been reworked. This is where it all comes down to. We'll see this time when he goes. It seems like he's a little slow on pit lane so far, if that graphic is right.
Look at that. 7.7 seconds. Just like that. Couple laps less of fuel. Able to get some more time out of it. You see him in the background a little bit. However, the crazy thing is, Matrizion, despite the fact he had a longer pit stop, because he's been flying so quickly here on the racetrack, Rocco, he closed in 3 seconds with the undercut, despite losing time on pit road.
Yeah, Justin, and that's an extreme benefit of getting that extra lap in on those tires, especially at a track like this. 4 miles. 4 miles he got more on fresher tires, and I don't think they're going to pit again, so that's important. Really well-played strategy. The gap's like 4 seconds right now. It's amazing.
Of note, the Sense Nose also had a 4-second undercut on Cohen to hold on to P3 for now. Bennett lost 7 seconds to P4 in the pit cycle. Kirby within 7 seconds now of the battle up in front as well. So some of the groups have separated, but the focus now goes on to the spotlight, one of the spotlight drivers tonight. Can Matrizion get up to the race leader in the span of 10 laps? It's down to under 4 seconds.
And the exciting answer to that question, Justin, is that there is nothing showing us that he cannot. He's been going quick.
You see, one driver had a problem. Let's take a look at the GSRC replay. This is Bunch. That car nearly joined the Corvette corral.
Yeah, just a little bit of an off. Debut race for him, probably a few nerves. Not the worst debut you can have. Just getting off track a little bit there. Still in the lead lap, though, so solid run from him today.
That's P8. Let's go on board. Second place driver. 3.5 seconds of the gap. Listen in. Some beautiful camera work as Matrizion trying to close up the gap. Still, though, he lost time. That time by a 1:46.2 compared to Beard's 1:45.8.
Yeah, Justin, and the scary part about that is that whole lap when we rode with him, we didn't see any bobbles. So he's really on it, and he still lost half a second.
Yeah, and a lot of the time, I think, Rocco, he lost in Sector 2, it seemed. He closed up about a 10th or 2 in Sector 1.
Yeah, it does look like he's chunking off that lead a little bit. Just maybe had a problem. A couple turns there, like you said. Takes a little bit to get back into it. But again, right on top of it, still 3.8 behind.
Right there. You seen right there, another struggle out of turn 5 and turn 6. This is where he lost the time the last time, too.
Yeah, maybe just a case of pushing it a little too hard.
You remember, he was as far back as 19 seconds from the race leader after some of the mistakes he's made today. He started from last of the drivers able to make it to the grid tonight. And now looking to try and come away with a race victory. 8 to go this time by, though, as Beard stretches it out to 4.3.
Yeah, and Beard, we've been talking about him all night. He's been so far ahead, we've hardly seen him. Just hitting his marks as well. Just putting in a solid run. We see Matrizion really pushing back there, and he's still losing time. Beard is just on his game. It's kind of been fun to see him do it.
And he's kind of had that cushion to be able to just relax, save fuel, save tire. He hasn't had to worry about anyone in the mirror since, well, Kirby spun off the racetrack on lap 1.
Yeah, we see Matrizion poke his head over that hill. I love that shot, by the way. You just see the guy in the back just kind of peeking, saying, I'm still here. But he's got to do that a little bit more and a little bit quicker. 8 to go.
Can Beard do it is the question. With this finish, this will be a major boom in the points for him over Paul Jenkins. Jenkins is up to P13 for comparison's sake after technical issues from the top 5. He was able to pass Robert Blumen on the racetrack.
Yeah, interesting enough, 14 guys still on the lead lap. It's probably a testament to how long this track is, but still, as we said coming into the broadcast, to keep it clean, you're going to have a decent
No.
finish.
Here's the thing, though. Jenkins and Bluen, we just mentioned their names. They're only about 30 car lengths up the road from Beard. If Beard catches them, how big of a factor do you think they may be?
Well, that could be the tipping point. Matrizian's obviously hoping he runs into some lap traffic, and I think with just over 7 laps to go, we're going to see it play a role. More likely than not, though, the guys in the back, considering they are pretty far back, probably going to just let him go by. But it should be interesting to see how he's able to negotiate it.
Indeed. Coming up to 7 to go. The pace has been picking up ever since he was able to take a little less fuel than Matrizian. Passes by Robert Bluen. He's off the racetrack. He's now the first driver lap down, and that compromises the exit of Matrizian a little bit. Let's take a look at what happened here as Bluen tried to get back going after the slide.
Yeah, I think compromise is a perfect descriptor, Justin. You see him, it didn't really necessarily impede him directly, but just that little variant on the exit for Matrizian is going to cost him a little bit of time.
Matrizian, since that mistake, though, able to close back up 2/10 through the run through turns 1 through 3. But it's been a struggle right here, the Moraine Sweep. Since the last pit stop cycle, he had been losing time of the rumble strips. Perfectly executed that time, though. Looks like he's finally been able to grip back up on that section as the tires have heated up.
Yeah, Justin, it always seems like there's that one spot on every track for everybody that you can go over it thousands of times and it's still going to give you fits.
Losing another 1/10 of a second or so that time in the carousel. The gap between second and third is about 13 seconds. The gap between third and fourth is 2.1. Closest battle on the track of note is the battle for 8th between Bunch and Burke. Within a second or so, within 2/10. Other than that, most of the field able to settle into a rhythm, coming to 6 laps to go this time.
Yeah, now it's a matter of your endurance. You've been pushing this car around it for about an hour, so it's interesting to see how your body can hold up to it, especially it's late. It's late on the East Coast and mostly late for most of these guys.
See if we can take a glance quickly towards that battle for 8th, because Burke's been having an up and down race. Remember, had charged up to the field after starting in the mid-pack. A great first lap, then slowed off the racetrack, damaged the front wing, heading off into the sand. Since then, he's been trying to recover positions. And now Bunch nearly snaps it heading off the bend.
Yeah, we see Bunch in his first run tonight with this league, or at least this season, and it's been an excellent one for him so far. Had a little bit of trouble, but running at 8th spot, I would take that any day of the week.
Burke trying to set up a good run off the corner. Bit of a slide up for Bunch. 6 laps to go, this time by.
And just peeking up ahead, a 1 to 2 gap, about 3.1 seconds.
Poking his way a little bit. Closest he's now been, heading towards the Moraine Sweep in this fight. They'll be coming up to 5 to go this time by. Just not able to get the good corner exit to be able to get the run he needs to make a strike quite yet. Was able to outbreak him, though. Burke able to take away the spot. Bunch gives it to him.
Yeah, a little bit of give and take there, but still an excellent move. Nice pass.
Question is, can Burke hold on to that spot? This is right where he started off this race in P8, by the way. Time starting to go back Matrizian's direction now after losing so much time before, by the way, up the road. See on the left side of your screen? Went up as high as 4.2 seconds. It's back down to under 3 again. So Matrician's found some pace again in the 145s.
Yeah, and that's all he needs.
Oh, hard!
Hard hit, hard hit.
Hard hit for Burke. That's now a tow for the 28 machine. No more front nose for him. Let's take a look. This is coming out of the kink.
Oh, I don't know what happened there. Just a little too much steering.
A rough moment for Burke. And now that might be the end of the race. Knocks him down to 14th. Last driver now on the track. 4 to go for the leaders this time, though. We mentioned Matrician closing in. Closing in our 10th and a half this time by already this lap. 4 to go.
Such a stark difference in laps. Beard must have made a mistake or something because he's been running too fast right now to be, second and a half slower.
Let's take a look at the lap comparison, and you can see here was pulling time up until lap 30. That was the evening point. Then lap 31 onwards, Beard has fallen off back to that 146 bracket we talked about before when he was in the lead with that massive cushion.
And these guys are running about the same tires. I think you hit the nail on the head. Beard's probably got a little less gas in that thing, but you could see there just visually that the gap has shrunk.
Now 4/10's gone that time. 2.5 seconds need to be closed up in the span of 3 3/4 laps from Matrician to strike. And at this point, Rocco, he might only have 1 or 2 shots to try and win this race.
Well, yeah, it's going to be with that dirty air that you keep talking about all night. He's going to get bounced around. He's going to have to find a way around A, the dirty air, and then B, he's going to find a way around Beard. And he's got 4 laps to do it.
And don't forget, too, Rocco, you're only allowed to make 1 move to try and hold up someone for a position such as this. You're allowed to go back to arc your way in for the better quarter entry, but you're not allowed to block the driver several times.
Right, that's standard racing etiquette. You get that 1 defensive move. Anything beyond that is deemed aggressive and usually will get you a penalty in many leagues, this one included. But I'm seeing him, but Beard's fighting hard. Still keeping that gap at right about 2 seconds. Where do you think he's got to be to start getting that pull from the first place car?
Based on what we've seen so far, and curious in your opinion, the right sweep has been the best passing zone all night, by far.
Yeah, I think so. And again, I just want to see him catch a little bit of that draft, maybe on one of these long straights, to pull him in and see if he can maneuver that car around these turns.
By the way, you may notice on the left side screen, Bennett did have a mistake and lose a spot to Kirby. He spun off the racetrack, lost about 5 seconds in the exit of turn 3 last time by. That's now spread apart. The battle for third is also closed in, but with 3 laps to go, Beard able to get back to the 145 to 145.7. Matrician, a 145.705. Only a couple 100s closed in on the 5. And starting to look like Beard now pulling that gap back just enough to try and keep him out of slipstream range.
Yeah, almost a little bit of an additional gap just to kind of cut that air. Matrician just fading a little bit. I don't know if Beard's just going quick or Matrician's not hitting his marks. But we saw him give back about a half a second over that last lap. A little unfortunate, hoping to get a little closer.
And our 10th gain by Beard that time of the exit of turn 6 off to hurry downs. We stay at troubles the question. 1 driver is up the road. P12, Richard Swavely. It's the only lap traffic within range of the next couple laps or so for the race leader. Clean space for the most part. After that, you see the traffic just up the track.
Yeah, I think Swavely in that Geico car, I think he's just going to probably just pull alongside and let him go by. I don't see that guy making any kind of problems. He seems to be pretty good in this league and pretty respectable.
Yep.
So he's probably just going to let him go by.
You can also put a red box, by the way, in the battle for P3, as we talked about, because Cohen's closed in on a sense nose. 2 laps to go this time by. 2 to go, signal at the stripe. Here's that battle for P3 as Cohen has been able to finally close up in, locks up the right front, keeps it off the 6.
These two have been going at it all night. It's been fun to watch. And as of right now, Diego's on top, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see Mark make a move before this is done.
The lap traffic in front of Beard has pit, by the way, and Swayboy, he was on his 13th lap, couldn't make it on fuel. But Cohen might have only one chance for himself now, maybe two, to try and get back into a podium position. Lost a 10th after trying to make that move in Canada corner. See if Cohen can try and strike once again. This has been his best part of the track in some of the battles. Moraine sweep to send it up the inside with the late braking.
Yeah, one of the best passing zones on this track. I just don't think he's close enough to pull it off.
Might need to go either down kettle bottoms again or wait until the last lap at this point, Rocco. With how far back he is, he needs to be with a couple car lengths to successfully get the job done, I think.
Yeah, like you said, I think at this point he's got one shot. He's got to time it just perfectly.
Of note, Beard's gap has been bouncing back and forth this lap from 2.1 to 2.4. Decent pillow, though, for the race lead up to 2.5. Dirty Air now strikes for the 39. He's been good right here, though. Bottomable again for a Sense Nose. Here comes the run out of the King. Great exit. Massive burst of speed. 180 miles an hour down kettle bottoms. Trying to pinch from the left side. Drag race side by side, coming to the white flag this time by Cohen, given the spot. A Sense Nose will now have the slipstream for the final lap. He pokes his way to the right side out of Bill Mitchell Bend.
Great job, guys. Great job.
This is the final lap. 1 lap to go from Road America. Cohen trying to play defensive to the right side. A Sense Nose trying to peek to the left side of the track. This is for the final step on the podium. Diego to the left side in turn 1. Cohen able to cut back, defends back, as Sense Nose peeks to the right, back to the left. Couple more shots for Diego to get the spot back. It's been his strongest race of the season so far. His previous best finish, it's 10th. Cohen to the left side again, as Sense Nose on the right side. Can he hold on? Late break again from Cohen. Pushes a Sense Nose off across the rubble strips.
Wow, these guys are pushing it. This is great.
Cohen able to defend back. Once more off towards Hurry Downs. A Sense Nose tries to take away the right side. He's forced to check up again. This battle may come right down to kettle bottoms.
Yeah, he's going to have
and
one more
shot off the track.
Oh, no, it's too bad. Cohen's going to go around. I think his Sense is going to have to settle for fourth. Oh, no.
Big enough cushion to hold on to a top 5 run. But for Brian Beard, he's been able to hold on to a 2.3 second cushion. Checker flag waves. And Brian Beard dominates at Road America. He wins race 12 of the 2020 Throwback Indycar Series season. Drive of the day goes to Christopher Matrizian from 17th to 2nd. And after the mistake from the 6 machine, Mark Cohen goes from P7 to the final step of the podium in P3, 20 seconds back.
Good for Mark Cohen. A hard-fought third.
Sense Nose P4, Kirby rounding out the top 5 with a decent gap. Of note, though, one battle is shaping up on this final lap. Swavely, the last driver to cross the stripe as a lap down, but a couple are still scrapping potentially for positions. Jenkins was scrapping, Yerk had been scrapping as well. That's now spread apart for the most part, but this, overall, though, for Jenkins, could have been much worse. A top 10 run for him, but that's going to shake up the points overall, Rocco.
Yeah, technical difficulties earlier on in the race. The damage could have been a lot worse. Good job by him mitigating that. Good for him.
Brian Beard comes away with a race victory. And with that, we'll take a step aside, but stick around. Post-race coverage is coming up right after these messages. virtual Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, for tonight's coverage of the Rogue Energy post-race show. Rogue Energy drink is designed to replace unhealthy canned energy drinks, coffee, and even traditional pre-workouts. Rogue Energy is sugar-free, free, and loaded with vitamins, antioxidants, and nootropics. Scoop, shake, drink, and win. Use the promo code UCORA INDY to get 10% off of your purchases at rogueenergy.com. It was an entertaining one tonight from Road America, as Brian Beard had an 11-second lead dwindle away to just 2 seconds at the checkered flag. Christopher Patrician comes home in P2 either way. Brian Beard gains ground in the point standings. Cohen rounds out the podium. Those three drivers will be standing by in just a few moments for post-race coverage here on the Global SimRacing channel. Diego Ascensiones gets his highest position finish of the season so far, and his first career top 5 P4 run, while Justin Kirby, despite having no practice, he told his competitors after the checker flag, he comes away with the top 5. Travis Bennett, after some mistakes, finishes in 6th, with Lanini, after losing a back wing, recovering a P7 after saving 14 laps on one stint. Corey Bunch finishes off in 8th in his first race of the season, while Copignoni finishes in 9th. Paul Jenkins, after technical issues, recovered to be the second to last car in the lead lap in P10.
Yeah, in the second half of the top 20, we got Andy Yerk in 11th spot, last guy to finish on the lead lap. Swabley and Bluen behind him, each a lap down. Then a few guys further back with some problems throughout the race. We saw Nate Burke hit pretty hard. He's in 14th spot. Jeffers and Lodel. Lodel actually decided to retire from the race. Not exactly sure why. We saw Rick Ravon get a little bit loose early on. He called it quits soon. And then we never saw Brian Gleaney tonight. But other than that, a good race and good to see. And we got some guys in the booth to join us.
Yes, indeed. From Victory Lane, it's Brian Beard coming away with an important race victory for the championship standings at the start of the second half of the campaign. Brian, how are you feeling after coming away with the victory here in Road America?
Better now that it's over, because I just about threw it away.
Yeah, I heard part of the discussion. Apparently you had 2 spins. How difficult was this car tonight to try and wheel to victory?
It seemed fine about the first half of the race. And once we got to the middle part of the race, when it started to rubber in a little bit, it started to kind of get a little understeer going into the corners. It took me a little bit to kind of figure out how to drive it, and 2 spins.
What was going through your head as you were looking towards the Delta and seeing, oh, Christopher's 11 seconds back. Oh, he's 8 seconds back. Oh, he's 4 seconds back now. What was going through your head as the gap windowed quickly until the final stint?
Push harder. I seen him coming. I mean, Chris had, really, really good pace. And I just put my foot down on the pedal and just pushed as hard as I possibly could there, just to hold on to that.
Now for you, it's your second victory of the season, and with the troubles for Paul, this helps close up the points gap entering off into tonight. All right, as well, that you had 79 points back. Now as we get towards the second half of the season, what's your thoughts on how this championship could play out now with it being much more tighter after tonight?
Who knows, really? I mean, it's definitely going to be tighter now. I feel bad for Paul that happened to him. But the thing about Paul is he's consistent. So I need to be consistent. He's going to be tough to beat in the championship, and I'm just kind of pushing as hard as I can at this point.
Overall, how are you feeling heading off into the next race on the calendar?
What's the next race? You have to tell me.
That's actually a good question at this point. With how things are shaking out, there has been a couple shufflings between a couple of the road courses and a couple of the ovals. Pocono maybe next. Michigan, rather, pardon. Michigan's next.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite ovals. Michigan and Indy. I love those places. So hopefully, if I can stay out of trouble, I can get a good finish there.
Who do you want to thank for being a part of this run tonight?
First, I want to thank you guys. Thanks you guys for broadcasting us. You guys do a fantastic job. Scott Bolster for putting on the league. My sponsor and the league sponsor, 94 Motorsports. D2 Race Designs, Midwest Simulations, and Spotlights. And I think that's about it.
Congratulations on your second victory of 2020. What a drive from you.
Thanks, guys.
That was Brian Beard coming away with the race victory tonight, but the drive of the day goes to P2. Christopher Matrizian goes up from 17th to 2nd at the checker flag. He's with Rocco Stallone.
Yeah, Chris, Rocco in the booth. Just watched you all day. It was kind of fun. Got to the point where we were rooting for you at the end. You got it down to about 2 seconds. Couldn't quite close that gap. We rode with you for a few laps. Were you feeling good today? Is this a track you're generally good at, or was it just a better day?
Yeah, I love this track. Feel real comfortable here, and despite my mistake in the beginning, I just wanted to stay consistent and bring it home.
Yeah, we saw consistency out of you basically every lap. Now, with Brian Beard having a couple spins up front, did you know that? Did anything get said on the radio?
No, I had no idea why I was catching him, or and I didn't think I was going to get by him, but I was surprised to see I was reeling him in there towards the end.
And what did you think about the setup? We heard a lot of guys, I don't want to say complaining, but no, a few guys weren't very happy with the setup. Said it hadn't been that way in a long time. We'll just put it that way.
I actually enjoyed it. I didn't have any problems with it. I was comfortable and felt good the entire stint.
Well, you definitely looked it. Is there anybody you want to thank for being on board with you tonight?
Yeah, my folks are watching as always. It's fun for them to be able to watch me do this thing, and my girlfriend for putting up with me.
Yeah, we got a lot of them behind us, right? They put up with a lot. But Chris, it was fun watching you. Congratulations on the second place. Any thoughts on Michigan next race?
Looking forward to it. We'll see. I'm not normally an oval guy, but I enjoy it. So we'll see how it goes.
Excellent. Well, we look forward to seeing you again. Congratulations on the second step tonight.
Thank you.
Once again, that was Chris Matrizian coming home in P2 tonight. Mark able to get up to P3 this evening, but it was hard fought. How are you feeling, Mark, after that stellar battle for P3?
Podium, baby. Heck yeah. I'm just, I had to dig really deep to get to Diego, and he fought hard and clean. That was one of the best road races I've been a part of in a long time. Super thrilled right now.
How difficult was it to try and continue that fight lap after lap? Because for the whole second half of the race, up until that mistake coming through towards the checkered, you two were near neck and neck on the track.
Well, on the second run, I was unfortunately struggling with the car and lost a lot of time, which is he was faster at that point. But then at the end, even though I had pitted a lap later and lost about 4 seconds, I thought I can do this. I can get up there. We can do this. And then slowly but surely, lap after lap, getting closer and closer. And eventually, that last lap, I didn't know how it was going to turn out until he unfortunately spun there. But I had to really push the heck out of it to get there, and it was a lot of fun.
Next race is at Michigan. Your thoughts on going back to the big ovals coming up?
Well, Michigan was actually my first Eucora race, and I really thought that I could have won that race. Unfortunately, I just blew it on the restart, made a rookie mistake, and wrecked the car. But next week, we're going for the W. I feel like I can do it, and it's going to be a fun show.
Who do you want to thank for being a part of your podium finish tonight?
Gosh, Sam Maxwell Custom. Sam has been amazing since the beginning. SimLab, best cockpits ever. Graphics Esports, awesome paint schemes. D2 Race Designs, Z-Blue Software, Midwest Simulations, Thumbs Up, Cancer Down, and of course, The Wars Candy Shop. All of these guys have been fantastic supporters. And of course, my teams, NLR and Loud Pedal, amazing. Eucora, love racing in Scots League, and all you guys at GSRC, best broadcasters in sim racing.
Congratulations on the P3 tonight. Very hard fought throughout that entire race.
Thank you so much, guys. It's a lot of fun.
Once again, that was Mark Cohen coming home in P3. I'd like to thank him, Christopher Matrizian, along with Brian Beard for joining us in the broadcast booth for post-race coverage. First things first, Rocco, your final thoughts after what was a fairly intense finish to this one.
Yeah, Justin, just some parting words from one of our drivers, Paul Jenkins. He happened to drop a little note in our YouTube channel. He said he got dropped like third period French class, so good to know he's in good spirits about it. But again, fun race tonight. We saw a clinic put on up front, even with a couple mistakes. We saw Beard drive away with it. We saw a really powerful performance from Matrizion, and then we saw a really good battle for third and fourth spot, which ended up with Cohen taking that third spot. So good for him, and good on Diego too. He fought hard, but overall good racing. Getting back to the ovals next round out, and we'll see what we can do there.
Yeah, what do you expect when we go to Michigan? Because my memories of this specific car there at Michigan are thrilling races with lots of back and forth battles and a lot of slipstream.
Yep, lots of drafting, lots of speed, a lot of room to maneuver. Always unpredictable too. You thought that dirty air was something today. Wait for that race, and we'll see those things dancing around trying to get around that air. So should be fun, and we'll definitely see there. We hope you guys join us.
Absolutely. We'd like to take the time to thank you for tuning in for tonight's race from Virtual Road America, and like to thank the Ultimate Conquest Online Racing Association for organizing this thrilling series, as well as its many sponsors, as you just seen on your screen. Are you interested in advertising with GSRC? Our channel's 1 million monthly global impressions are a great way to get your branding seen by a diverse audience. On the screen in the description to the YouTube broadcast to learn more about the Global Sim Racing channel. We'd also like to thank the companies who provide the software and hardware for our broadcast listed on your screen now. Additional thanks to Jude Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. Thanks to the team today and Rocco and Sean. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. If you'd like to help support the channel, you can check out our merchandise for sale at gsrc.storemv1.com, or check out our social media on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_gram. Don't forget to head over to our YouTube page and hit that big red subscribe button, as well as the notification bell, so you don't miss a moment here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. It's time to say hello to Michigan. This upcoming race, that'll be on July the 23rd for what's expected to be a thrilling race. That starts at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can catch that here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. We also have various upcoming races for other series listed up on your screen. So be sure to check those out as well and mark them down your calendar. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.